Welcome to the garden. I'm going to talk to you today about planting tomatoes. Daisy might help us too. Hi, Daisy. Tomatoes and what plants you should plant with them. It's called companion planting, and it gives you better yield in that it wards off certain pests and helps to keep certain diseases down. So anyway, here's my chives, just as a side note. I like to put them in the strawberry pots. Never have enough yield from strawberries to make it worth it. With the sow bugs and all that, I don't even bother. So I love to put chives in the pot. It'll be all fluffy when it gets all full. So I've got my tomatoes here ready to plant. Beautiful little pepper down here. So in Southern California, lettuce does phenomenal right now. Celery does great. Onions, green onions does great. And really, if you have a little bit of room, there's no reason to ever buy a cucumber during the summertime. Cucumbers just do fantastic. We'll walk down here first and give you an idea of what I've planted so far in the garden. There's our little chickens back there. Hi, girls. Say good morning to the girls. And our lettuce is doing fantastic. And believe it or not, I have broccoli. Broccoli is definitely a winter to spring vegetable. And boy, once it heats up, this will go to seed overnight. So let's get back to tomatoes. Let's focus here. So what do we plant with tomatoes? The plants that you want to plant, the companion ones, are basil, celery, lettuce, onions, parsley, spinach, and marigolds. When I was doing my research for this video, I realized that I had forgotten to buy marigolds. You can see I have some pansies in here. I love to put flowers tucked inside the garden just so that they add a splash of color. I mean, isn't it just beautiful? You come out here and it just warms your heart. So here we have our tomatoes. Now, tomatoes, when you plant them with companion plants, it actually helps to increase the yield of the tomatoes by keeping off of the bugs, protecting them. And most of the plants that are companions for tomatoes are very aromatic. You have your basils, your marigolds, your onions, your celery. They do a lot for keeping off the bugs, and that helps to produce more tomatoes. Here's our celery. So these are all plants that do fantastic in the summertime. I love the celery. I won't need to buy celery all year long. And as a side note, I grow my cucumbers in cages, and we don't buy cucumbers all the way through summer to fall. So when you're planting companion plants, it's a good idea, especially with the lettuce, to plant every 2 to 4 weeks apart so that you have growing lettuce all the time. So you can see here, my lettuce here is about a month old. Now, I harvest very carefully. I harvest from the bottom, and then I clean up. I'll talk about that more in another video. And then here's my baby video. Here's my baby lettuce. I just planted yesterday, and that will keep me in lettuce for the next couple of months. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous how beautiful it is. So when you're planting, let's get back to tomatoes. Oh, I just get so excited in the garden. When you're planting tomatoes, a lot of times it's a little different. A lot of times the planting guides will say, keep the dirt off the base. For instance, like when you're planting a pepper here, you don't want the dirt to come up the base too much because it will rot the base out. But with tomatoes, you can actually take off the bottom parts of the leaves and bury part of the stalk, and that will actually help strengthen the tomatoes. Now, lettuce, you can see I have my lettuce on this side of the garden bed, and I have my tomatoes and celery and basil on this side. Lettuce likes nitrogen. So our chicken manure is very high in nitrogen, and it will give a tremendous boost to anything that has a leafy vegetable. However, tomatoes like little to no nitrogen in their fertilizer. They like fish bone meal. You can get that at your nursery or buy it online. Fish bone meal. Now, why do you want to keep the nitrogen out of the tomatoes? Well, it's real simple. Remember, nitrogen equals leaf. So nitrogen on your grass, nitrogen on your lettuce leaves, anything that has a lot of leaf to it, you want your nitrogen. But for tomatoes, you want little to no nitrogen because we want tomatoes. One year when we didn't know this, we were using our chicken manure on our tomatoes, and we had the biggest, bushiest, they were like 7 feet tall. They were absolutely stunning tomato plants and not a single fruit. And that had to do with too much nitrogen in the fertilizer. So before I wrap this video up, I just want to talk about a couple of plants you should not plant near your tomatoes, and that is beets, peas, fennel, dill, and rosemary. Two others, and I'm going to talk about them more in just a minute, are corn and potatoes. So these vegetables share common problems that are not beneficial to tomatoes, so you don't want to put them in your garden, especially corn and potato. You don't want them near your tomato plants, because what will happen is you will get blights, and the corn worms that love the corn, that go right into the corn ears, they will definitely have a field day in your tomatoes as well. Well, that's it for the SoCal garden. Say goodnight. Goodbye, girls. Goodbye, girls. All right, where's Daisy? Let's find Daisy. I think she's eating a stick. There she is. Say goodbye, Daisy. Goodbye.